Hey guys, welcome back to my colourful country life. Today I thought I would film the final part in my Every Page I've Ever Coloured series, and today's just going to be a whole big pile of random books. So I don't know how long this is going to take. I should be able to finish it all in one part or one video. So let's just quickly dive in and get started. So first up we have Reptiloids II by Vassal Seiko. So there's one page there that was completed with Spectrum Noir Tri Blends. So I did the basing with those pens, as you can see. Now I don't have a huge selection of the Spectrum Noir Tri Blends, so I used some Tombow dual brush markers to base the rest of it, where I was lacking in some colours. And we've got Wink of Stella on here. Now where is my Wink of Stella? Okay, on the bee's wings. Wink of Stella on the bee's wings, and then some Signo White, and that is it. And then we have this one here. This is a recent one. Was it a colour along? No, it was not. This one was with the Ohuhu Honolulu markers as a base, as well as, did I use? Nope, it was all the Ohuhu Honolulu markers. The sky was grabby watercolors, and I just coloured over everything with Prismacolor pencils just to add some shadow and some light. And that gold border is Jelly Roll. We've got some glaze, Jelly Roll glaze in black on his eyes, and the metallic gold on the dragons. Okay, and I think that is it so far. Next up we have A Million Dogs by Lulu Mayo, and we've got this double page here. What have I used? The CSY paint, the metallic paints. I can see that throughout all the clouds. I have a feeling this one was coloured with polychromos, but I could be wrong. It could be Prismas. Maybe it's a mix. And the background there, I think it's soft pastel. I think. That's it for that book. Next we have A Million Cats, and okay, is there any more? No, just this one double page. We've got the CSY paints again. I love that colour. Mine has run out. I've used it that much, that silvery green tint. So I'm going to have to get another set, I think. But I've used it all throughout here, the leaves. Now, I did do some basing with some markers. Have I written this down anywhere? I did base some of these things with some Tombow markers. Distress ink for the grass and distress ink for the clouds. And then Prismacolor pencils for all the pencil work. Next up we have A Nice Little Town by Tatiana Bogema, and I've only coloured one page in this book, which is this one here, and it's purely Prismacolor pencils. Next up we have the Botanical Mandalas by Domenica Stopper. Now, I did start using my Spectrum Noir Tri Blends to do this border, and I was going to do the same border throughout the entire book. And then, of course, being alcohol markers, they bled through. So, for the rest of the borders, I was using Brute Finna rounds to try and match the colours up as best as I could. And this page here I think was coloured with Prismacolor pencils, and I've just used some, I don't know if that's green distress ink or green soft pastel for the background. to try and cover over the bleed through from the alcohol markers. And this one, I really want to finish it. My daughter and I have been going through and answering some of the questions. She puts her answer and then for me to put my answer. Yeah. Next we have Mindful and Meditative Colorin by Gitanjali Behera. And I've coloured these 2 pages here. Prismacolor pencils, and I think that's just black Posca. Now, I really do enjoy a lot of the pages in this book. So, now these are pretty. These would be really nice with gel pens. I haven't looked in this book in so long, you start to forget what you actually own. Are they the same? Oh no, they're different. That's really pretty. I'd like to colour that one. Yeah, that's all I have coloured in this book. Next up, we have Watercolor with Me in the Forest by Dana Fox. I really love these books, and I've done a couple of pages, I think. This is going to be hard to flip. Pretty sure there's a couple in here. I think there's a butterfly. And okay, so there was my butterfly. Okay, this one was me testing out the Grabby 100 color watercolor sets in my review video. So Grabby watercolors and Signo white gel pen, and oops, that's what I was making. I really like how that turned out actually. And I think there is one more. Here we go, the caterpillar. I like how this one turned out too. This is a really fun book. I don't know what, I think I might have used my Ohuhu watercolor paints for this one. And that is it for Watercolor with Me in the Forest. Okay, next up we have Layla Dooley's The Flower Year. Now I can't remember what I've coloured in this. I don't think I've coloured very much. This one here, I'm going to assume that's Prismacolor pencils. I think that's all I've done. All these beautiful uncoloured pages. Yep. Sadly, that's it for the flower year. Okay, next we have Flowerscape in Paradise by Maggie and Terios. Now, I know there's a couple in here. I love this book. This is on my wish list to colour for December as well. If not, I might just do a page in January. Now, I know I've got a couple in here. We've got this one, Prismacolor pencils, the Tim Holtz Distress watercolor pencils for the background. We've got Jelly Roll metallics and some Signo white on the flowers. This one here was Polychromos and Jelly Roll metallics and Jelly Roll Stardust as well. Don't know if you can see that. It's on the little veins here on the red flowers. It's hard to catch that sparkle. Is my light on? Yep, there we go. And was there another one? I thought I'd colour more than them two. Maybe not. Okay. Next up we have Kawaii Tarot by Lulu Mayo. And I've got a couple done in here. there's the first one here, the Knight of Wands. This was me trying my Holbeins for the first time. So it's Holbein pencils. We've got Jelly Roll Metallic, Jelly Roll Stardust, Jelly Roll Glaze, and Signo White on this page. And a little bit of shine there, but I love how well they blended on this paper. They worked really well. And there is another one. Somewhere, oh, here we go, somewhere over the rainbow. The Hierophant. So what did I use for this? Those pillars, I remember I based with watercolors. No, it was Tombow markers. I used Tombow markers to base them. Have I written it down in here? Tombow markers, gold metallic paint. I can't remember if that was a CSY paint or the KJ Designs by Karen. Is this a colour along up on the channel? I can't remember. It may be a colour along up on the channel under Lulu Mayo playlist. It may be up there. I honestly cannot remember if I did or not. CSY paints up here on the hot air balloon though. We've got Stickles on the background, and I think we have the Tim Holtz Distress watercolor pencils for the blue background, and also for the pink on the clouds here as well, I'm pretty sure. And then the rest looks like it would have been Prismacolor pencils. I think I used Tombow markers on the castle as well, and maybe these clouds, we either based them with markers or used the Distress watercolor pencils and then put Prismacolor over the top. I don't know if this is a colour along, but if not, the details will be in one of my completed pages videos, but I can't remember when I coloured it. Yeah, and that's it for Kawaii Tarot. Okay, this next book is called Language of Flowers, and I don't think it has an artist. So this was actually sent to me many years ago by Hinkler, and it was only available in Australia and New Zealand, and I'm pretty sure there is no artist listed. No, so I wonder if there's an artist listed in the back. Published by Hinkler, Australia, 2019. Okay, here we've got artist Jane Hayes. Okay. And that is the page that I coloured, and this was entirely coloured with Prismacolor pencils. I actually have not looked through this book in such a long time. I probably won't do another colour along because it is only available in Australia, Australia and New Zealand. I think at the time I remember Hinkler saying to me that QBD Books was selling it, and I don't know where else you can get it, but I do remember them telling me QBD Books. But there are some gorgeous pages. So much detail. There might be a flip through on my channel too of this one. Look at all those details. Some of the details are super tiny, but there are some really pretty pages. Like, look at that double page spread. Yeah. Next I have Camilla Derrico's Pop Manga, Dragons and Other Magically Mythical Creatures, and I've only coloured one, which was this one. I actually really like how this page turned out, and this is fantastic practice for colouring eyes. It's all Prismacolor pencils, Distress ink for the background, and we've got some glossy accent on her little purple eye there as well. That one was really fun to colour. And that is a colour along up on the channel. Okay. Next is Mythographic Magical Earth. I adore this book, and I think I've only coloured one page in it. I keep meaning to come back to it, as I do most of my books, because I do the full book colour alongs though. My books do tend to get a little bit neglected, so I don't know if I'm going to be doing any full book colour alongs once these ones are finished. I'm just going to, you know, fill up the books that I have. But I've coloured this one here from Magical Earth, and it is a colour along up on the channel. And trying to remember what I used: Prismacolor pencils. The background is Neocolor 2s, some white Signo, and it looks like some jelly roll glaze on the center of the flowers. And I think that's it. I do love how this turned out, and I love this book. This is my favorite mythographic book. Okay, so next we have Fairy Tales by Emily Leda Hall Oberg. I'm looking forward to the reprint of her other book, which I can't remember how to pronounce right now. I am looking forward to that one being reprinted. I definitely will be getting a copy this time around. And thank you to Colour with Claire for getting that petition started as well. Now, this one here, I think that's all I've coloured in this book too. I bought this book when around about the time I first started colouring. I had some Joanna books, some Hannah books, and I think then I bought this book. I had seen it on Always Colouring with Katrine and loved the book. This page, I started it back then, did not like how it was going, so it was a long-term whip. I finally came back to it, I think last year, if memory serves me correctly, last year or the year before that, and managed to finish it off, and I quite like the end result. The book isn't that great. That was the one that I had to try and fix. I erased as much as I could and then went over it, but I really do like how that one turned out in the end. Okay, next is Gnomes in the Neighbourhood by Denise Klett, and I think this is my only page. This one was coloured with Chroma Flow pencils. Neocolor 2 for all the background. We've got Tombow that I based the tree trunk with. I think it was just the tree trunk. I used the Lyra Aqua Brush. That was on the ladder. That was the Lyra Aqua Brushes. Jelly Roll Stardust, which you can see on like different little details. The hats over here. And I used the Kaisercraft Iridescent Spray, which is in black, which might be hard to see. You can kind of see the speckles. It does sparkle when you catch it under a certain light. So that is it so far for Gnomes in the Neighbourhood. Next up we have Spook J Boss by Tomislav Tomic, and I think this is all I've done. This one was with Prismacolor pencils and Jelly Roll Metallic in gold. I do love those colour combos together. And that's all I've coloured so far in this book. Next is David Peterson's Mouse Guard, and I've only coloured one in this one as well, so that is this page here. So I used the Tim Holtz Distress watercolor pencils for basing, Prismacolor pencils on top to add shadows and highlights, and we've got white Signo for the bubbles and stickles on his eyeball. That's Mouse Guard. Okay, next up we have R.J. Hampson's Forest Song, and have I only done the one? Oh, I really like that page. I love that page. I think I went, oh, I like that page too. Oh no, we've got a couple. I think they're both colour alongs. So this one here, red, Little Red Riding Hood here, is a colour along up on the channel with Prismacolor pencils. And I'm pretty sure the entire thing is Prismacolors. There is some white Signo on there. And I don't think anything else was used on that picture. And we have this one here, which is Fall. I'm pretty sure this is all Prismacolor pencils as well. I am going to assume that it is also a colour along up on the channel, but I cannot remember for sure. Yeah, it looks like it's all Prismacolor pencils. We've got some white Signo, and that's it. That is all I've coloured in Forest Song. Next we have Whipped. It says illustrated exclusively for Blue Star Colouring by Rudy Fig. Now I've only coloured this one page here, and I think I used polychromos for this page. We've got some CSY paint, which is all that shine. There's glitter in the background from Stickles, and there is some watercolor paint, which I think is the Distress watercolor pencils again. Now these sort of splatters, I did use a stencil, but I can't remember. I think it's probably Distress ink that I used on the stencil. I really can't remember that, what I used. So next up is Theoria Kirkasoy's Colorin Chicks Coloring Book 2, and I have this page here that was coloured in polychromos pencils, and there is a colour along up on the channel. It is all polychromos and some white Signo, is that Signo? Yes. Or some sort of white gel pen on there, and that is all. That's beautiful. That's beautiful as well. So is that one. Her images are gorgeous. I love that book. Okay, so next, I think I've got another Theoria one here. Let me have a look. Yes. Theoria Kirkasoy's From Halloween to Christmas. I did look at this book to see if there was anything to colour in December, but I don't know that I'm going to have enough time. Now I've got one Halloween page coloured. This one here, and it is a colour along up on the channel. This one was with Prismacolor pencils for the entire thing. We have glossy accents on the bat's eyes and on her fangs as well. And that's it. There's no other sparkle or glitter or anything. I love how her eyes turned out as well. So that is a colour. I like the background too. It's kind of like spooky and misty looking. So that's a colour along up on the channel. Now I've got some Rose and Her Friends books here from Eveline Van Kotzen. Where's my other one? Let's look at this one first. A Sweet Critters World. Okay, so this is the one I coloured. That's right. This is Prismacolor pencils, Jelly Roll Metallic, Stickles, and Signo. So the Stickles are on her pearls, and the little pearls that are in amongst the flowers as well. Jelly Roll Metallic. Okay, here on the top of her dress and around her little jewellery. And yeah, everything else is Prismacolor pencils. Look at these kittens. I love how realistic she draws her animals. And the Lion King. Okay, so Rose and Her Friends, also by Eveline Van Kotzen. This must be the first one. And where is the second one? Found it. Okay, let's look at this one first. I think this first one is my favourite of Eveline's books. Okay, I know I've coloured in here. Where is it? Is that it there? There we go. I love this page. This page was a colour along up on the channel, and I'm pretty sure it was Prismacolor pencils. I really love how her hair turned out. The background here is soft pastels as well. Even the fur, I really like the colours too. So that is a colour along up on the channel. I'm pretty sure it is actually. Is it? Yeah. There'll be a playlist under Eveline's name. And Rose and Her Friends too. So this is the most recent book by Eveline. And that's the one I've coloured so far. So this one was Albrecht Dürer. It is a colour along up on the channel as well. Albrecht Dürer. I used them wet. Did I go over them dry, or did I use something else? I wonder if I used something else to go over them. maybe my polys. It'll be up on the video. We've got some stickles on the butterfly, the glossy accents on the mirror, as well as some gold metallic jelly roll, and we've got some orange metallic, or is it stardust? Some orange jelly roll anyway, and these pearls I believe was my CSY paint. Let's look at Dimensions by Francois Gautier next. I do have another book by him, which is The Dark Art, but I'm leaving that one to the end with all my Beauty of Horror and Mythagoria books. I'm going to leave the gory stuff to the end just in case people don't want to see that. They can switch off by that point. But we will look at Dimensions. And there is 2 in here. So one of these is a colour along and one of these was not. This one was the colour along, this dragon page, or this water monster. And it is completely coloured with Prismacolor pencils. We do have glossy accents on these little gems. And I think there's some glossy accent on his eyeball as well. And the frog's eyeball too. But other than that, it's all Prismacolor pencils. And like I said, it's a colour along up on the channel. And this one here is not a colour along up on the channel, and was also coloured purely with Prismacolor pencils. We do have a little bit of silver metallic pen just up here on the details, and a little bit of white Signo. But other than that, it is purely Prismacolor pencils. So that was Dimensions, a 3D colouring book by Francois Gautier. Okay, next we have Vintage Classics by Tatiana Bogema. And this is one that I've coloured here with Albrecht Dürer pencils, wet and dry. There's stickles on the bee's wings and glossy accents on his eye, and also the mouse's eye as well. And I'm pretty sure there's nothing else coloured yet. Oh, I like that. Okay, what have we got next? Dreams of Dragons and Dragonkin by Raven Phelan. Now, what did I colour? This one here was coloured with Prismacolor pencils. I think that's Neocolor 2. Yeah, pretty sure that's Neocolor 2 for the background. We do have some glossy accents. No, we don't. We have some glaze, some Jelly Roll glaze in black on the eyeballs. Some CSY paint. That was my favourite colour paint as I was running out of it as well. This is so pretty. I love how it looks silver under one light and then green under the other. I have to get more of that colour. So I really do love how this turned out. This is the beekeeper who hides in lavender bushes, and I did look up her original artwork to get an idea of what colours she used before colouring that page, and that's the only one I've coloured, I think, in this book. I do love colouring a dragon though. Yeah. Okay, so Secret Worlds by Stephanie Law. Now, I had this book for so many years. My son actually bought it for me for one Christmas, and I did not think I was going to like this book at all. I did not think it was my style, and then I decided to just dive in and try it. I coloured this page and I fell in love. The paper in this book is sensational. I love the paper and how smooth the pencils went down. They blended so beautifully. So this was coloured with Prismacolor pencils for nearly everything. That CSY paint that I really like the colour of here. And we do have some Jelly Roll Stardust in the red and the orange. And some white Signo. And that's it. And that's the only page I've coloured so far in Secret Worlds. Okay, let's look at Country Christmas by Teresa Goodridge next. And I do love this book. Teresa Goodridge is my favourite Creative Haven artist. Love this page. It's not a colour along. This is one of my older colouring pages. Prismacolor pencils, lots of stickles everywhere. The white signo, we've had a little bit of a bleed through here from the red. And that's it. I love how the snow turned out with all those different sort of pastel colours, bit of purple, yellow, pink, blue. I can't for the life of me remember how I did it, but I'm sure I could try and recreate those colours. And then, so that's what I use for these sort of like mountains, these mounds of snow. And then for the footpath coming out of the door, it's just a plain blue snow. That's the only one, I think. Yeah, that's it so far. Here is going to be one of my very early works. There's only one page coloured in this. This is Everyday Magic, the artist edition by Dia Lenahan. And Dia actually sent this to me. And I did colour one page. And it was my very first time attempting to colour fur. And it is a huge fail. It doesn't look too great. But I had fun colouring it back at the time. And you know what? I've only coloured that one page, but here it is. That's the page I coloured. I'm not going to... So this here, the spine actually slides off and the pages are all loose and they're really thick, like they're super thick card. Really toothy. Really good for watercolour. But I'm not going to slide it off because I don't want to then have to try and slide it back on. But this is the page I coloured. It's all coloured with Prismacolor pencils. My very first attempt at fur. Thankfully, I learned how to do it before we coloured all that fur in Kirby Rosanda's books. But yeah, this is my first attempt. And look, my blending isn't so crash hot here either, but I really did enjoy colouring it at the time. And just having a quick look at this book now, like, look at that page. That would look beautiful coloured. Whoops. My spine's coming off. And that page there, that one I love. Oh, look at that one. That'll be fun to colour too. So many beautiful images. I think possibly when I first got it, it might have been a little bit daunting for me as a beginner colorist. But it's something I can definitely... Oh, look. It's broken. I may need to do this after. Nope, got it. Got it, Kaz. There we go. Okay. Next up, let's have a look at Jasmine Beckett Griffith's colouring book. I cannot for the life of me. Okay, so this one is a really old colouring page too. I'm thinking 2019 maybe. I really do like how it turned out, and I blended that really well for my beginning years. 2019? Was it that? 2019, 2020 maybe? Yeah, it definitely was one of my earlier colourings. A little bit of stickles here on the key, and everything else is Prismacolor pencils. My attempt at grass, it wasn't quite what I was looking for, but you know what? It actually kind of worked. Yeah. I actually quite like how that turned out. That's all I've coloured in this book. So, let's have a look at Wildflower Folk next by Christine Caron. And I think I've only done one. I absolutely adore this book though. I could easily colour every page. And there was like a grumpy old man or something in here that I really wanted to colour. The wizard, was he a wizard? I can't remember now. It goes to show how often I flip through my books. That one is fantastic for Halloween. There's something here somewhere. Okay, that's the one I coloured. And that is a colour along up on the channel. I can't find the one that I said I wanted to colour. He might be back here somewhere. Okay, so This one was Prismacolor pencils, soft pastel for the background, some white signo and some stickles on the butterfly. And I really like, let's take that off there. I really like how it turned out. I think it looks really pretty. I like her skin as well. A big difference from my very first attempt at skin in my Hannah Carlson book. This is beautiful, this book. Love that page. Okay, so next we have Layla Dooley's Beautiful Planet. Now, this one was on my December wish list to colour as well. I think I've got a page marked, or page or two marked, that I wanted to try colouring. And thank you to all those people that let me know what flowers they thought everything was. So I will have a look up at all those names that you gave me before I start colouring. So this is the one that I've coloured so far. This is a colour along up on the channel. It is Prismacolor pencils. The background is the Distress watercolor pencils from Tim Holtz. And we've got some Jelly Roll Metallic on the fish, some Jelly Roll glaze on the eyeballs. And that is it. Next I've just got this Spiral Scopes Amazing Animals book that I thought I would add in here. So it is, because it is sitting on my bookshelf. It's not that exciting. This is from Hinkler, Gareth Moore, and I've done a couple. This was just like mindless colouring one Christmas. Now this book came with someone had tried to scribble it in while it was in the shop, I think. So there's some pencil scribbled there. I'll have to go over that one. But what have I completed? This one here, the camel. And I just used the Staedtler Tripus fine liners in black to colour them in. Does anyone else have these books and use these books? What do you use to colour them in? Because the black is a little bit boring, but it does take a lot. There's a lot here, so it takes a lot of ink. So I want to be careful what pens I'm using so they don't run out. So like, I don't want to colour it with my jelly rolls and have them run out. Let me know if you have this book, what you use, because it is really fun, mindless colouring. Okay, so next up, I'm going to show you Halloween, Mischief and Magic by Jane F. Hankins. Now, this is the last book before I get to the scary books. So if you don't like that sort of horror, gory themes, after this book, shut off. You're not going to be missing anything. It's just the scary stuff next. But this one here, and I love this book. I really wish Jane was still printing them. The quality is fantastic. And her images are so playful and pretty. Look at that. That's so cute. So, and this one is a colour along the channel. If anyone has been lucky enough to get a copy of this book. Where is it? Ah, there it is. What I used is a good question. I think I've used Prismacolor pencils and maybe some Neo colours. Definitely these guys are Prismacolor pencils. The background, I think, is either Watercolor or Neo Color 2, but that'll be in the video. And that's the only one I've coloured in this book. I don't really do colour alongs in them because I know no one can get their hands on this book anymore. Okay, so here is where you need to shut off if you don't want to see the scary stuff, because that's what's going to come next. What will I show you first? Okay, so Mythagoria Night Terrors by Fabiana Atanasio, and I've only coloured one, which is this one here, and I actually really like how it turned out. I used Neo Color 2 for the background. This was early on, before I'd really mastered how I prefer to use my Neo Color 2s. So I had been using them for quite a while, but then it just sort of like clicked on the best way to use them. But this was Neo Color 2 background, and everything else is Prismacolor pencils, and it is a colour along up on the channel. The spiders here, these little red backs, are coloured with Jelly Roll Glaze in black, and I'm not sure about this silver pen. I'm assuming it is the Silver Stardust, or maybe it's actually Winker Stella. It could be Winker Stella. Yeah, but that is a colour along up on the channel. Now, Beauty of Horror, Tricks and Treats by Alan Robert. There's 2 coloured in this one. This one was a very early colouring using Prismacolor pencils. That is it. I don't have any white gel pen, nothing on this page. And yeah, you can tell from my very early blending skills. And this page here. Now, I actually quite like this. This I thought of as a fail at the time. It was my very, very first time using Neocolor IIs for that background, and it wasn't the effect I was going for. And at the time, I remember feeling so miserable because I could not work out how to use these things. And after I used them on this page, I actually put them away in a drawer and did not pull out my Neocolor IIs for a long time because I thought, these are too hard. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to use them. I put them away. And they sat in the drawer for a very long time before I thought, they're just wasting away. I really need to practice and get used to them. But this is my very first attempt with Neocolor IIs, and looking back on it, I actually really like it. I think it turned out quite well. And it fits the page too. The rest of it would have been Prismacolors. Yeah. We've got Beauty of Horror 5 here. And what is this one? Haunt of Fame. Okay, so this might be my Steve Irwin page. Yeah, okay, so this is coloured with polychromos, and it is a colour along up on the channel. It is all polychromos. The background here, it's possibly pastel, it's possibly distress ink. Why can I never tell the difference? I think it's got to be pastel. Soft pastel for the background, and just like a little bit of white signo on the crocodile's eye, and then that's it. Everything else is polychromos. Yeah, that's all I've coloured for that one. I feel like I'm playing Jenga here with this stack of colouring books next to me. It's gonna topple over very soon. Okay, so this is, I think this is the original Beauty of Horror. I think this is number 1. And oh, is that it? Okay, so that must be the only one I've coloured. This one is not a colour along on the channel. This is distress ink in the background. I have used my pearlescent paint over the top of the Prismacolors, just on the skulls and bones, and the rest of the page is coloured with Prismacolors. We've got glossy accents on her eyeballs, and I'm assuming the gold here on the fence is the Pen Touch gold. Okay, we'll do another Beauty of Horror. This one here, the creature feature. I think this is my Stranger Things. I thought I had something else coloured. I must be imagining things. So this is my Stranger Things page. I actually like how this one turned out. This one is Prismacolor pencils for absolutely everything. We've got black Posca for the background here, and I'm pretty sure this is a colour along up on the channel as well. And I'm pretty sure it is the only page I've coloured in that book. And last but not least, we have Dark Art by Francois Gautier, and I've only coloured the one page in this book as well, and it's a nameplate page. This was, when did I do this one? A couple of years ago. I was trying to do a stained glass effect in the background. Wasn't really what I was going for, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty, it's colourful, and I think I was just trying out different paints. These might be the CSY paints in the silver and the red. I was just testing them out. And then the background is Distress Inks. Yeah, so not the best page, but it was lots of trial and error, I think, for that one. And, oh, did I just see a dragon? I did. Okay. That one's not too bad. Alright, so actually I wouldn't mind doing this one either. That is the very last colouring book and colouring page for this Every Page I've Ever Coloured series. I hope you have enjoyed this series. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon. Bye for now.